Hi, Bashar. My name is Tamara, and my question is in regards to my mother who passed away in 2015. And ever since she died, I have periodically had really bad nightmares about her. I've never had an instance where she's come to me in a really, kind of magical, mystical way with the white light and telling me that she's okay and all of that. All of the dreams have been very negative and very scary. She's told me several times in my dreams that she doesn't know where she is. She's scared, she's alone, and that's really upset me. And I don't know how to get her out of there, or if I even can from where I stand in the physical. So if you could tell me where she is, and if she's not in a good place, if I could help her get to somewhere that is good, because my mom was a really good person when she was on planet Earth. In the physical. Thank you.
She is in spirit and she is fine. What you are experiencing is a reflection of something going on within you about your own fears. She's bringing them out in you, but it's not about her. It's about you. We cannot go deeply into this if we cannot communicate more directly with this person at this time, because there are things we would need to explore in depth. But it's not about her. It's about you and something she is attempting to get you to look at that is a fear within yourself, in your belief system. She is fine.
Good day, Bashar.
Good day. What would you like to discuss this day?
Sure. So I guess I have a couple questions. Probably sound a little bit weird, but a couple months ago I had, I guess I was awake in bed. I looked over at my wife, on my wife's side, and the pillow turned into almost like a face. And it was very distinct. It was a man's face with a big beard. And at the time I didn't know who that was or anything. And I ended up looking it up, and it looked like it was the face of like an Anunnaki. Or when I looked at it further, it kind of showed that it was Enki, I believe. And it looked at me and it said, no, no, no. Now, I wasn't fearful or scared or anything. I was just kind of like in a bit of shock. So I looked at it, and then I realized later it wasn't saying no, no, no. It was saying no, 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 like as in
K-N-O-W.
Yeah. And I
Yes.
guess my first question is why did I see that? What does that all mean? What's it trying to tell me? What do I need to know?
Well, you were in the proper state to receive direct communication from another level, from interdimensional spirit realms that allow you to know that you can be more than you are, that you are more than you are as a physical being, that you're connecting to the guides that you have, connecting to the information and knowledge that you need to know. How did it feel vibrationally?
I mean, I guess I was kind of shocked, just like trying to talk myself that what I was seeing was real and that it wasn't made up or anything.
All right. But I'm not asking you how you felt emotionally. How did you feel vibrationally?
I guess I felt kind of excited.
All right. Then remember that feeling, because that's the vibrational state to come from in all the actions you do in life that are representative of your truth, your passion, who you really are. They're giving you an opportunity to recognize what your true vibrational state is, your natural state, your core essential vibration. So, and it's also a reminder of the ancient wisdom, which is why it kind of came in a representation of a very ancient form. Know thyself, K-N-O-W. So the idea is the more you know yourself, the more you will be your true self, the more you will express your true self, the more you will constantly operate on that vibrational state that was reflected to you in that moment when you were kind of out of the way, when your physical mind was willing to open up and allow you to receive that particular reminder, that particular reflection at that time.
Okay, perfect. So then this brings me back to another experience that I had in my mid-20s. Again, I was in bed. My wife was beside me. Her father had just passed away. So at the time, I saw a figure in the room. It was very tall with long fingers. It walked over to my wife's side of the bed. And again, I was trying to questioned myself whether I was seeing things or not. And then I saw the pillow move, and I knew right away that this was real. And I woke her up and told her about it. And then later on, after I started following some of the stuff you were saying, I'm not sure if it was her dad that I was seeing, but if it was maybe something else. I was hoping you could shed some light on that.
It was something else. The father energy was present as well, but what you were seeing was something else that has to do with extra dimensional and extraterrestrial connections and participation in what we call the hybridization agenda and the evolution of humanity.
So was that me being a participant in that, or was that my wife being a participant in that?
At the moment, your wife at that time,
Okay.
but
Wow.
your awareness of it is because you are participating in another way.
Wow. Okay. Interesting. In the last several weeks, I heard you speak in Sedona, and since then we've had multiple sightings of flashing lights. Once in Sedona and 3 times in Kelowna, BC, where I live. And I'm just wondering, why am I seeing this so much lately? Including my wife and my family are seeing it too now. We're all seeing it in.
Because you allowed yourself to wake up to the fact that there is a different reality around you that was heretofore invisible. Anytime that you're willing to expand your consciousness, your senses expand along with it to allow you to see what is around you all the time, but most people don't ordinarily see.
So these aren't ships that I'm seeing, right? They're
Yes, some of them are. Some of them can be entities unto themselves. There's a lot of traffic and a lot of activity around your planet. It's just that most people don't see it because they're not on the same wavelength.
Okay.
But once your senses expand, once your senses sharpen, then you can see things that you couldn't see before. That becomes what you call your new normal.
And my senses can be sharpened further by practicing the formula, I assume.
Well, yes, by acting on it, yes.
Okay.
If that is what you mean by practicing.
Yes. May I ask one more question after this question?
Go ahead. And thank you for your cleverness.
Oh, okay. Well, I was just trying to be, I wasn't trying to be clever. I just wanted to make sure that,
That was not an admonition.
okay.
It was a compliment.
Oh, thank you. So my last question was, again, I live in Kelowna, BC, on the Okanagan Lake, and here there's tales of the Ogopogo. And again, our family has felt like we've seen a few instances where we've seen it. Is the legend of the Ogopogo real? Is it harmful to us?
It is not harmful to you. It is real, but again, you're dealing with interdimensional beings that can come and go, which is why it is seen so infrequently.
So
Similar to the idea of Sasquatch and Yeti.
Okay. Have I seen it lately? Like, is that real what I'm seeing then, like in the water?
Sometimes. Sometimes it is a trick of the light. Sometimes it is an alteration of perception into a different reality and not in yours. So you have to be able to discern and tell the difference, what reality you're looking at. And sometimes it's in what you consider to be your typical reality. So it just depends.
That's amazing. Thank you so much. I appreciate your time, Bashar.
Our unconditional appreciation to you as well. Aveo.
Aveo.
Hello, Bashar. I'm wondering if you can provide me information about a species of extraterrestrial beings I met during an astral projection. I saw a male and female of this race. They were very, very lean, extremely low body fat, and dense, ripped muscles on their arms. They had ridges along the side of their face, and they were wearing a black and yellow garment that looked sort of like leather, and it reminded me of the fusion jacket from Dragon Ball Z. It also had ridges along the arms. The fusion jacket is interesting because that makes me think, well, maybe these are hybrids, as they're alluding to fusion. And I'd also like to comment that the name Varya came to me, and I'm wondering maybe these beings are connected to the Virgo constellation. Please expand if you can. Thanks.
What you were given is a projection, an interpretation. You are not seeing the beings as they actually are. This is a race of beings we are not allowed to discuss at this time, but that you are connected to. It does have to do with Virgo, but that's all we can say. But what you saw is not exactly what they are. It was made up of an interpretation of things from your mind so that you would have something to relate to. These encounters can continue, and you may gain more familiarity with them over time. But it is not our job to discuss this further.
Hello.
Good day, good day.
Good day, Bashar. So excited to see you.
We thank you. It is our passion and our pleasure to interact with you as well. What would you like to discuss?
So my first question is, oh, which which extraterrestrial race do I have? Do I have any connections with any extraterrestrial race like the Sirius or Bosnia in location?
All humans have connections to extraterrestrial races. The ones that are most common for humanity are the beings from the Sirius star system, the Pleiadian star system, the ancient Orion systems, Arcturus energy, hybrids, grays, Lyrans sometimes, tall whites, Andromeda galaxy, so on and so forth, plus several others we're not allowed to discuss. But all humans to varying degrees and at different moments have stronger or weaker connections that they download information and experience from to all of these different ET races that are involved with the evolution of Earth.
Okay, thank you. And so do I have any, extended family members on the other side who are, whom I might meet at some point?
Yes, you all have soul family members that are non-physical.
Okay, so that when open contact happens, we get to meet them. Is that?
You're talking about extraterrestrials, you're talking about spirits. Because when you say family members on the other side, it means spirits.
Extraterrestrials. Like
Yes.
extraterrestrial, like people.
You may meet some of your extraterrestrial counterparts when open contact occurs, yes.
Okay, thank you so much. And another one is about the Judeo-Christian culture. I think you spoke about the Merovingian bloodline. Are they still around?
They are. It goes all the way back to the idea of the Anunnaki bloodlines. So it still exists in many individuals. It exists in all of you to some degree. Some individuals, some strains, some cultures have a little bit more of it, more direct route to it than others, but it exists in all of you.
Okay. What, with regards to the wars that are, a lot of divisions that we see today, and also, with regards steps or methods do you recommend to resolve many of these clashes or conflicts and, and the climate as a whole for the earth? Like, what do you recommend the best path? What course of action do you think we should, both as individuals and as a collective?
It is very important to let go of fear-based beliefs, negative beliefs, to have understanding and compassion for each other, that each of you walk a different path for a good reason, that there isn't just one way to do things, that there are several ways to do things, as indicated by the number of individual paths that exist, that it all leads to the same place, it all leads home, it all leads to the same source, it all comes from the same source, and to let go of the idea that you have the only truth, the only perspective that counts, but to understand and validate the individual differences among all of you to create true unity, true harmony.
But when people give you opinions or truths per se, so how do you settle, or how do you so is it like is it completely subject to what works for each individual, or is there an ideal path which would, works best for most people? Because if
This is why we give
agree
you
on
this is why we give you the formula. And the only reason most people don't agree is because they're too caught up in their own belief system and not really looking at the fundamental reasons why those beliefs exist. Once you examine those beliefs and let go of the ones that are truly no longer relevant for you, truly not representative of your core frequency, there will be no disagreement. There will be validation of the differences, and the differences will be seen in a different light. And they will be seen as different ways to reach the same source. So you have to let go of the fear-based and negative beliefs to see it that way.
Okay. So that's part of how we end up activating many of our genetic markers?
By following the formula, you raise your vibration. By raising your vibrational frequency, you activate the genetic markers that are relevant for you at this time to allow for the expansion of consciousness.
Thank you. And finally, do you have any personal advice for me as an individual, like what I should do, what path I should take, or
Follow the formula.
with regards to...
Follow the formula
Okay.
as precisely as
Thank
possible,
you.
because you are unique, and therefore you have your way of expressing your passion and acting as a living example to others of how they can do so for themselves as well. So just by following the formula precisely, then you will be doing everything you can possibly do to serve humanity, which will then in turn serve you.
I like when I follow the formula at many points, I encounter, divisions. I mean, not divisions, but how do I say, difference of opinion and difference of interest when it comes to language and how we communicate. Is there at some point where those get resolved?
Absolutely. Because again, when you raise your frequency, you become more and more empathic and telepathic, and you know what each other are thinking without necessarily using the languages. The languages will start to fall away when you allow yourselves to identify and feel what others are feeling, to relate to it, to understand it, to have compassion for it. When you fall in love with one another, you will speak a different language. Does that help you?
Okay. Okay. Thank you.
All right, we thank you.
Yes,
Aveo.
absolutely.
Good
Thank
day.
you so much. Aveo. Good day. See you, Bashar.
To you all.
Our unconditional love to you as well.
Let me just expand on the sonoluminescence.
Yes.
Is there a similar conversion process in which you can convert sound or any other medium into electrical energy?
Absolutely.
Tell me about it.
Absolutely. Well, you have it in the basic fact of sonoluminescence. You just have to make slight adjustments, or you can add what are called waveguides in the area where you are creating the light with the sound, and the waveguide can be of a diameter that is representative of an electrical wavelength, so that it can conduct that vibration down its length in such a way so that it acts as a step-down transformer and a converter into the idea of what you call electrical phenomenology.
Cool.
It would help if it was actually lower in temperature, yes. What you call superconductive.
Right. So is superconductivity only possible at low temperature, or is there a way to...
No. The idea can be at what you typically refer to as room temperature and even higher temperatures than that. You just haven't discovered the materials yet that are responsible for being able to do that.
But you have, didn't you?
Yes.
Tell me about it.
You can use mixtures of copper and boron and a few other things that we will get into at another time when you are ready for that information. But you can begin experimenting with those.
Gotcha.
Does that help?
That does. Thank you very much. What is the speed of the, what we call here, electrostatic potential, or the potential of a charge density?
Well, it is fundamentally infinite, but you have different levels of it that you interpret in your dimensional reality. So depending upon the frequency you're at, it will determine a different speed for that. But the fundamental tick of the clock is what you refer to as the Planck time.
Okay, so Planck's constant is valid in some sense.
It is the tick of the clock of your experience of physical reality, yes.
Thank you.
Yes. Does that help?
It does. What role does macroscopic quantum tunneling play in energy reception and energy conversion in
It
electrical
plays a
systems?
huge role.
Tell me
It's
about it.
actually within your biology, it's actually within your brain, and helps to allow your brain to act as a receiver for the higher frequency energies of your higher mind and convert them down into things that then can be processed as belief systems and thoughts and emotions and behaviors and activity within your biological.
And how does it apply specifically to electrical energy in systems?
Well, it helps generate the matrix along which electrical impulses can most easily be conducted.
So, and can you talk about an application to other than the brain?
Well, in the senses. Many of your scientists are now discovering that the ability of certain animals, such as certain birds, to navigate by the electromagnetic field has to do with the idea of quantum tunneling.
Gotcha.
Does that help?
It does, thank you.
Thank you very much.
Okay.
That's enough.
Thank you very much. Love you, Bashar.
And our love to you.
Bye-bye.
Hello, Bashar.
And to you, good day.
Nice to meet you.
And you as well.
So I would like to ask you if some beings have higher vibration than human being.
Well, we have a higher vibration than
and
humans.
your physical body can be seen for us or not?
You can see us, but we are almost non-physical. But we can make ourselves appear to you in solid form.
So you can decrease your vibration?
Yes,
And
which we do in order for this channeling to happen, because we have to come closer to the vibration of the channel, and the channel raises his vibration to come closer to us.
Yes, thank you. Thank you very much.
Is that it?
Yes.
Oh, all right, thank you.
Hi, Bashar.
And to you, good day.
It's so nice to meet you.
And you as well. Speak up, so that all may hear you.
My question that I wanted to ask you was already answered.
How synchronous of you.
Yeah. So I just wanted to ask you just a mundane question. What does your normal day look like?
What does my normal day look like? All right. Not that anything in our reality is normal. It is natural instead. But the idea is, as many of you know, I am a first contact specialist. Therefore, a lot of my day is occupied by making contact with different civilizations, such as yours, extending the relationship between my civilization and those civilizations, such as yours. Some of my day may sometimes be occupied by the idea of exploring space, discovering the idea of new civilizations to make contact with. A lot of it is spent observing how different civilizations function. A lot of it is also spent participating in some of those civilizations in a variety of ways. Some of it is also acting as a sculptor, utilizing different materials, such as what we described earlier as the nanoglass material, to create different forms that are receptive to different levels of energy and express those energies through those forms as we create them. Interacting also with my fellow beings on my own world in a variety of ways. There are many things that occupy my experience on a day-to-day basis. Will that answer your question?
Thank you very much, yeah. And just one more question.
Oh, you had a question after all.
Yeah. Do you also need to sleep?
We do not sleep anymore. We do not eat anymore. We learned at one point in our civilization, in our evolution, to lucid dream very powerfully. And when we learned to lucid dream, we became aware that on a higher level, there is what we call a template, a blueprint for physical reality. And in lucid dreaming, by becoming awake in the dream and controlling the dream, we could take our consciousness to that level of the template and actually make adjustments in the template, in the blueprint, to make changes in physical reality that then allowed us to become more lucid in the physical dream. And then we started to understand that physical reality was just a different kind of dream. And so by becoming lucid in our dream state, we became lucid in the physical dream, and they started to blend together until there was no difference. So we don't need to go to sleep because we're always dreaming and we're always awake. Does that help you?
Yes, thank you very much.
Thank you very much. At this timing, we will extend to each and every one of you our suggestion to go and refresh yourselves, and we will resume this transmission after your break. Thank you.
Hi, Bashar. I have a question about an experience that I had. It was kind of like a dream, but it felt real, where aliens came into my house and asked me where I had gotten a big black cube that was sitting on my dining room table. I didn't know what it was or where it came from, and I told them that, and they said that I had wished for it when I was younger. And they mentioned a song that I used to sing from my favorite Disney movie. And then they took me out the window with them. And I also felt this buzzing and vibration in the back of my head. I was just wondering if you could give me any information on that, or if you knew. I'm really curious as to what the black box was, because they said I wished for it and I'm not really sure. I'm trying to figure out what it is. So thank you.
It is the truth about your being and your connection to them and your participation in the hybridization agenda. It was put into the black box so that it would open at the time when it was important for you to remember. It was hidden away until such time as it is important for you to remember your participation in the hybridization agenda. And what you experienced was a memory, not a dream. The buzzing is the effect of transitioning to a different vibrational reality. That's how your body interprets the change in frequency from one reality to another. It's not uncommon for people to experience that in having encounters that shift you to a different reality. It is often accompanied by a vibrational sound.
Hello, Bashar.
Good day, good day.
Bashar, I feel like the language as we use it here has no adequate words to express how grateful I am for this opportunity of this exchange. And I would just like to say, with the words that I do have, thank you so much to you, to Darrell, and all the people behind the scenes who make this production and make this interaction possible.
It is our passion and our pleasure to do so, and it is our deep appreciation for the co-creation of this interaction to you.
Thank you. So I knew that I have just very little time with you today, and I was wondering, if synchronicity will show me what kind of questions I should ask. And then yesterday I saw a huge Dalmatian dog in front of my house, which is quite rare because it's not a dog race that is common here where I live. And I thought, okay, now I got the clue. And the reason why I won this raffle was a dream. I dreamt about the baby that was dressed in a blue overall. It looked to me like a few months old, but it said something that was so funny that my husband and I laughed really, this heartfelt laugh that you don't get often. And I asked it, how come you're so eloquent and so small? And he said something that I can't remember. And then I said, how old are you? And he said, 13 years. And I thought, how come he's so small? This can't be. When I woke up, I thought, wait a minute, this speech pattern that the baby had, this is Bashar, or his people talk like that. I remembered a study that was done with Daryl where they studied the content of the information that he was giving when he's channeling you. And I thought, okay, that has to do something with Bashar, this whole dream. And I thought, okay, what happened 13 years ago? I have no idea. And then I looked back at my dreams, and I realized that 14 months ago, I had another dream where I was in a blue tube, again, this same blue, this eclectic blue, and I was talking with an ET. And this tube was like a frequency protector. So I was safe from the frequency that the ET was emitting, and we were so able to have a conversation. But I was still in this blue-black tube, and we were talking about Croatia or Dalmatia, hence the dog, yes. who I thought is the sign that I should be talking about that. And because I was clearly agitated in the dream, but in a positive sense during the dream, my husband woke me up because he was thinking I'm struggling. And then I lost the conversation, and I was thinking, oh no, the ETs will think I'm so rude. I just disappeared without saying goodbye or something. And I have no idea what was spoken about, but I know it was about Dalmatia. So maybe you can shed some light on that.
First and foremost, do you remember what the child said that had you laughing?
No, unfortunately not.
All right. Remember that you are part of the hybridization program. You understand this?
I understand it since the 25th of March this year.
All right. Well, the child was a hybrid child. It wasn't me. It is a hybrid child that is connected to you.
Okay.
So, yes?
Does my husband also have hybrid children?
You both do, yes. Your genetics have been used, both of you, in the hybridization program. The idea is that the child is awakening within you more understanding, more expansion of consciousness, because again, the age of 13 is the symbol of transformation, the symbol of change, the symbol of letting go of the old ways and beginning the new ways, the symbol of a new cycle. So in that transformation, you are awakening to your participation, to the realization of your participation in the hybridization program. And this can carry you forward as an energy, as a momentum, into further exploration and further understanding of the role you can play in your area in helping with the awakening by being a living example of following the formula, following your passions, living your joys, living your dreams, acting through them in a way that allows others to see that they can do so as well. Do you understand?
I do.
So, much of the conversation that you were having in those encounters were taking place in a slightly altered reality. And the idea of the blue is a vibration that was acting as a buffer for the vibration of the ET, so you would not be overwhelmed. The idea then is to live up to the frequency that represents your higher self, your soul. And in what ways, I'm asking you, are you able to do that on your planet? How can you be of service to humanity by acting on your passions?
I think by what comes to mind, the first thing that comes to mind is that I used to be working as a counselor.
Yes.
And I have overcome a lot of physical challenges, health challenges, and all kinds of challenges. And I think this is an example that no matter what happens, I can still stay in a positive state, irrespective of.
You can transform. You can transform whatever it is and turn it into a lesson that expands your soul.
Yes.
So why is it that you used to be a counselor?
Because right now I'm a student again. I'm studying meditation. I want to become a meditation teacher.
All right. And so this is exciting to you, yes?
No.
No.
Not 100%. Not 100%. I have to tell you, since I was informed that I want this interaction with you, I had another dream that really turned my life upside down. And would you permit me now to tell you the dream?
Briefly, yes.
Yes. So I had a dream that I was waiting for a bus, and next to me was a man in a wheelchair, and he wanted to go onto the bus, but took my luggage. And I said, "Sir," he was an army veteran, and I said, "Sir, this is my luggage." And then because I was pulling him back, he couldn't enter the bus. But because he was going forward towards the bus, I look at the bus and I see several mantis being standing on the bus. And I'm intrigued, benevolently intrigued. And I say to him, "Oh, look, there are mantis." And he said, "Oh, now I really have to get onto that bus." And the bus was going over a bridge from small city to big city. And the mantis were so alert. They were looking into the direction of where the bus was about to drive. And the air was filled with this alertness. You could cut it with a knife. That's how it felt to me. And I was thinking, okay, I'll go too. And then when I woke up, I asked my husband, "What do you know about the mantis?" And he said, "Not much." And I said, "I know nothing. I've heard the word, but I knew nothing." And then I started researching, and since then, I'm still grappling to fit it all together.
All right.
I read that they're connected with the Sasani, and I was thinking
they are connected to the hybridization program. They are the overseers.
Exactly. If somebody had asked me just 3 weeks ago, "Do you want to learn more about the mantis?" I would have politely said, "No, thank you," because I thought I'm not interested at all in anything insect. And now I think, oh my God, I must be somehow connected with the hybridization program. Otherwise, I wouldn't be dreaming so rapidly after.
All right. The symbology is mixed up with an actual presentation on a slightly different level of reality of getting on a ship with the mantises, and the idea of the veteran who is in a wheelchair grabbing your bags is an indication that it is important to let go of old baggage that holds you back in order for you to move forward and join on that ship with the mantises to go from a smaller reality to a larger reality, which is what the bridge represents, going from a smaller city to a larger city. So it's about really letting go of the old baggage, because that baggage holds you back, and allowing yourself to be free enough to move forward, to get on the bus, so to speak, to go in that direction, and to expand your consciousness. Does that help you?
Yeah, that does help me. How is the number 55 and 11 connected to the mantis? I had another dream that 55 is mantis and 11 is Sasani. What does this mean?
5 is the number of humanity. The idea is that you create synchronistic numbers for yourself to let yourself know, as like road signs, when you are in the correct vibration to move forward, to come from, to act from in your life. So all the numbers are basically representative of connecting to the one, but expressing it through your human self in a way that is more representative of your higher mind, of your soul, the one.
Okay. And is the flower iris somehow connected to any of the hybrid children?
Yes. It is not only the name of a hybrid child, the idea of the iris is that which opens up wider to allow more light in.
Yes.
It is not just the idea of the flower. It is more the idea of the iris that opens in your eye The iris that opens in a camera lens to allow more light in. So open up and let more light in. Let go of the old baggage that's holding you down.
Okay, thank you. Thank you.
Thank you. Does this serve you?
That serves me very much. Thank you.
All right. We thank you. Aveo.
Aveo.
Hey Bashar, this is your friend Teresa. Back in 1995, someone asked you about a race that he was calling the unseen ethereals because of their very pleasant ethereal aspect, as opposed to the fearful experience he was having with the Greys. You told him that that was a race you would call the founders, and that he was experiencing only one part of their nature, only the ethereal part of their nature, and that there was much more to them. And I'm wondering if you could talk more about the founders now. Have things changed enough since 1995 that you can give us more information on the founders? Thanks, Bashar.
No. However, there may be more about that group that will be presented within 3 to 5 of your years, not necessarily from us, but more information about them within 3 to 5 of your years, coming from a different source.
Well, let's say good day to you this day of your time. How are you all? Yeah. I will take that as okay. We thank you, each and every one of you individually, all of you together collectively, for the co-creation of this interaction. Once again, each and every time your civilization interacts with our civilization in this way, it creates a link, a bridge, and a third reality in which we can, one day, interact more and more closely, more and more immediately. So we thank you for the co-creation of this new paradigm, this new reality in which we can all together learn to play. This day of your time, this transmission will begin with a discussion of imagination. Now we have talked about imagination many times. We would like to take the concept a little bit further this day of your time. We have reminded you of the synchronicity in many of the words that exist in various languages on your planet. We understand the channel's language is English, and in this context, we point out again, as many of you are already familiar with, the synchronicity of the word imagination. Magi, nation. A nation of magicians is what you are. And you can use your imagination to create the kind of nation, the kind of world that you prefer. Imagination is an extremely powerful tool, and we will discuss in what ways this is so, and how you can apply your imagination in very powerful ways to allow and to create the kinds of changes that you would prefer to represent within your lives, individually, and again, within your lives, collectively, globally. And as you thus then move out into the cosmos, into the stars, and join with us eventually, you will find imagination is going to play a very key role in your ability to do that. So let us begin. We will remind you, first of all, that we have talked about the idea that imagination is the conduit between your higher mind and your physical mind. It is the pipeline through which your higher mind communicates with you, and through which in receiving that communication, you can then, as physical beings, as physical personalities, apply the information, the imagination that comes from higher mind, the communication into your physical lives, to alter them, to change them in ways that are more reflective of your passion, your excitement, your joy, your preference, or not. It is up to you to use this positively or negatively. It is up to you. But imagination is the key to allow an alignment to occur. And if you are willing to use your imagination without filtering the communication from your higher mind through belief systems that contain fear, then you will find that the outcome can always be a positive one, and you can always amplify and magnify that in any direction, in any area of your lives whatsoever, no matter what. Higher mind, again, I remind you, has the far-seeing point of view. It stands on the mountaintop. It can see all the pathways you could possibly take in life, and it guides you toward the path of least resistance, the path that is most truly you. As we have said many times, the vibration of excitement, the vibration of passion is what functions like the compass needle. It is your magnetic north to your true self. By following your passion, by following your excitement, by pointing the needle in that direction and that direction only, you will always be completely, purely, squarely on the path that is most truly you, your core, true, natural self. Your imagination is the conduit through which your higher mind can guide you in this very easily, if you allow it to be effortless, which you can. Physical mind, then, chooses in physical reality various ideas of how to apply these ideas coming from the higher mind in ways that are also pleasing to the physical being that you are, the physical personality that you are, and you learn to work in concert as a whole being, as a whole person with the higher mind. For if the physical mind thinks that it must take on the job of figuring everything out, how is this going to happen? How can I make this happen? How can I bring everything together to get this to happen? If the physical mind thinks that it must be the only one doing that job, it is going to be burdened, it is going to be weighed down, it is going to be tired. Because the physical mind is not designed to know how things will happen. The physical mind is only designed to know how things have happened. The idea is thus then to trust the higher mind to let you know that if the higher mind is sending you information that pushes you in the direction of your passion, and you trust that, what the higher mind is telling you is that by following your passion, the how will be taken care of, because the higher mind can see how you're going to get there, and the translation of that how through the imagination is the physical sensation of excitement, joy, passion, and love. That's how the higher mind speaks to the physical mind through the conduit of imagination, with those feelings, those vibrations, those energies, those pictures. So the physical mind can learn to relax and not feel it has to carry all the weight of the world on its shoulders for figuring out exactly how everything's going to come into manifestation in its life. You can allow the higher mind to guide you in that, and you can relax and ride the wave of the energy that the higher mind sends through the imagination, and allow things to unfold in a synchronous manner, in an effortless, joyful, creative, loving manner. And thus then find yourself flowing through life. And even if the path that it leads you down may seem to be going left, going right, going here, going there, going where you least expected it to go, that is cause for celebration. Because as we say in our world, anytime something unexpected comes up, you want to say congratulations. Now you know you're really following your joy and allowing your life to unfold synchronously in front of you without it being so planned out, so rigidized, so insisting that it must be one way or another. Because if you really are open to the idea of what your higher mind can do through your imagination, it will almost always bring you something that is even more exciting than the physical mind was capable of actually picturing. So when you insist that it must be a certain way, you're actually limiting the ways in which it could actually come to you that might even be more exciting than you are actually capable of imagining. But imagination can act as the guide, the initial visualization mechanism to at least give you a bearing, give you a heading. And you can use that picture as a symbol to represent the energy, to symbolize the energy of the reality that is representative of your highest joy, of who you wish to be. But if you rigidize that picture and insist that it must turn out that way, then you are actually fighting against the flow of your higher mind. If you relax that it could come to you in another way and that what you're picturing is just a representation of that reality, then the energy can flow and you may find yourself winding up in a situation that is even more wildly fantastic than you were at first capable of picturing. Now, here is something else that is very important to understand about what imagination is. First of all, of course, understand it is a state of being. And any state of being causes certain kinds of states to exist in the neurology of your brain. When you are in an imaginative, creative state, your brain, the neurology, the way the electrical pathways flow will be different than any other state. Here is something that is important to understand. When you are born in physical reality, the first moment that you crystallize, shall we say, your spirit into the physical matrix, it crystallizes a kind of pattern within you that represents the idea of your soul agreement, your relationship to your higher self at that moment. What happens to it from there on will depend upon a lot of things, including input from your parents, society, so on and so forth. But that core agreement, that core relationship will always exist. So when you go through life and you've lived several years and maybe you find yourself becoming in your older age a little bit confused, a little bit forgetful of where you're going, why you came here, so on and so forth, looking for your joy, looking for your passion. Going into the state where you allow yourself to communicate with higher mind through your imagination will actually always bring you back to your 0 moment agreement of when you were born. It will actually restructure the neurological pathways of the brain back to that childlike moment where anything is possible. That's what's key to understand about the function of imagination in your physical reality. It's your reset button. So when you find yourself feeling lost, feeling confused, feeling at odds, go into your imagination. Open up the conduit of communion between your physical mind and higher mind and push the reset button. Go back to the 0 point. Let the neurological pathways realign. And then in that state, open up to the infinite possibilities and the choices you have made. And go forward from there afresh, anew, reinvigorated as a new persona. Because again, remember. When you make any change, you have made a total change. And that is what imagination allows you to do. Realign yourself in such a way in bringing yourself back to a kind of 0 point that you can then step out from there on any path you really so desire that is representative of your highest passion. And know that when you do so, you really have cleaned the slate. And anything that may have seemed to be an issue that was an obstacle or a complication in your life formerly, at that moment of zeroing yourself out, is actually no longer there. Now, you can co-create it again. You can say, oh, it's still there. I still have to get over this. I still have to deal with this. You can do that. If that's your process, that's fine. I am not telling you how to live your life. If you want to include complications and misery in your life, please go ahead. I will not stop you, because if that's what gives you quote unquote joy, then by all means go ahead and involve yourself in that idea of struggle. If that's your process, love it. And then you'll get the most out of it. What I am simply saying is you do not have to do that. You actually have a choice. And in that moment that you zero yourself out with your imagination and allow your neurology to realign, recrystallize back to that first moment, that first agreement, when you were a child, a newborn child, and step forward in that state of being, then all bets are off, as you say. You really have lost your history. You really only live in the present in that moment. And what you do from that moment forward is up to you. And it will be, it can be your reality completely, wholly, totally. Now, we have talked about the idea of imagination in context to the concept of all that is. The universe, if you will, the multiverse, creation in totality. Whatever you wish to label it, it doesn't matter. And then we spoke about the idea of understanding this. You cannot imagine non-existence. Go ahead, I'll give you a minute, try it out. There, you see? Couldn't do it. Because the point is that even if you could, by definition, imagining non-existence would be non-experiential. Therefore, how would you know you had done it? You would have no experience of it. And in having no experience of it, in that context, it isn't relevant. It doesn't exist. Therefore, conversely, anything, everything that you can imagine is somewhere, somewhen, somehow a reality, a real reality. It may not necessarily be relevant to the reality you are creating on Earth, but it is nevertheless real in some parallel dimension, some other reality, whatever you wish to label it. Whatever you imagine is also happening simultaneously with the reality that you are actually physically experiencing. So if in your imagination you do imagine you have 3 arms, wings, 4 eyes, and are purple, there is a reality where such a being, such a version of your soul actually does exist. It may not ever cross paths with you on Earth. You may never know that until you go to higher planes where you can see more of your soul's creation, and then you will go, oh yeah, there I am. Doing that thing in that universe with that kind of a form for that kind of a reason, because that's a symbol and a reflection of that kind of path and that kind of an experience. So anything you imagine is, in fact, tapping into some other simultaneously coexistent real reality. Yes, really, really real. Just as real as you feel your physical reality is for you. Now, the idea, of course, is one of discernment. It is real, but is it relevant to your reality? The idea of following your joy, following your passion, it's not to say you cannot create that here, but it is highly improbable, not impossible, but highly improbable based on the agreement you made to participate in the co-created mass consensus reality of Earth at this point in space-time, as you have created it. Strange things can happen on your planet, and strange things have and always will. And some of them are the confluence of someone actually fully letting go of any assumptions and expectations about what this reality has to be, opening the door a little wider than normal, and perhaps suddenly, there you go, something pops in that may not normally be relevant to your reality, and suddenly a legend is born, a myth is born. Oh, did you know there was such a creature, such a thing, such a happening? Well, those things do happen. They may pop in, they may pop out and never be seen again. That doesn't mean they weren't real at that moment. It may have simply been only, in a sense, I'll put it this way, a momentary defocusing a momentary relaxing of your agreement, but it also may be part of your agreement in the sense of presenting those kinds of ideas and realities to yourself so that you can play off them, reflect off them, and see how it might apply to some aspect of your agreement here in this reality. Nothing happens by accident. It can all be played off of. It's all an orchestration. All we are simply saying is, it's also a matter of discernment as to what works for you. And if you use your imagination in this way and apply these things in a manner that will work for you based on your understanding of your true self and the agreement that you made to be your true self in this particular modality, in this particular reality, then you can stay aligned and harmonious with your higher self and understand what it is you can achieve in this reality. You have far fewer limitations in this reality than you think, even within the parameters of the limitations you have imposed upon yourself for what is possible in this reality, or at least what is probable. The idea is that anything that represents your true joy, anything that represents your true self, your true passion, is manifestable. Is manifestable. But it is also about you paying attention to what is actually representative of your passion and not representative of your anxiety that is simply being called your passion. It requires discernment on your part to know whether you're coming from fear or true joy, and not labeling things that are representative of your fear as excitement when they actually in fact are not, but also vice versa. Not labeling your joy as a fear when it actually is representative of your true path. Because many people on your planet will stay away from the thing that really excites them the most because they have put a label of fear on it, or society has taught them to do so. This again is where your imagination can, in a sense, come to the rescue. Go back to your 0 point, press your reset button, and go, wait a minute. Who am I at the core? Who do I imagine myself to really be? What kind of person am I passionate about being? What kind of life am I passionate about living? In your imagination, you can see all those things. And that's why I have said many, many times what's important. Whether it becomes literally manifest as you see it in your imagination or not, what's important for communication and harmonization between the physical mind and higher mind is that when you do get a picture in your imagination of who you prefer to be, what you prefer to be doing, where you prefer to be doing it, how you prefer to be doing it, when you see that, all you really have to do is mimic it, mirror it, act it out as best as you can on all levels of your life. All you have to do is be like that person in your mind's eye. Do things the way he or she would do it. And then when you start doing things the way he or she would do it, you will change your vibration to the vibration that is representative of that life. And when you shift your vibration to the representation of that life, you will start to synchronistically have that life. All the things that are representative of what that you would have will come in. So that's how to use your imagination as an actual tool, an actual application tool. The idea being that when you open up to your imagination, you reset yourself, take yourself back to 0. Then you create the picture that is you, that you prefer to be. Then you act like it. You behave like it. And then you have 1, 2, 3, the whole manifestation process right there. 1, 2, 3. Let yourself reset using your imagination. Let yourself create using your imagination. Let yourself act it out using your imagination. And your imagination, thus then used in the 1, 2, 3 way, will allow you to become the magician that you are, and you will become a nation of magi. Do you understand this? All right. Now, we will, as this transmission goes on, of course, investigate some of these concepts a little bit more deeply and a little bit more personally as you engage us in questions and discussions. And just the thing to keep in mind while this is going on is that no matter how physical this interaction seems, it's also all happening in your imagination. Because remember, physical reality isn't by itself real, except the experience of it is. physical reality and everything you experience in your life is created, whether you know it or not, whether you're conscious of it or not, through what you imagine your reality to be. Your beliefs, obviously, your definitions obviously play a part. Your emotions play a part. Your thoughts play a part. But it is your beliefs, your emotions, and your thoughts that all wrap together into the triangle of your personality prism, and once it locks together in that triangle is the template of the imagination that activates your reality. That's the conduit through which you send those beliefs, definitions, emotions, and thoughts up to the realm of the higher self, where manifestation is immediate and instantaneous, and energy is all pervasive. Then the higher self, the higher mind, sends that thought, reflects it back through the imagination to the physical mind, and gives it to you in terms of the passion of your true self, so that by simply acting on it, by simply following your passion, the higher self lets you know, this is the wish you have sent me, translated into the language of the higher mind. Do it. Act it out. Act it out, and you will be speaking the language of the higher mind. You will be blended and harmonized as the physical mind and a higher mind into one holistic being, one holistic person that can then reflect that relationship into manifestations in an imagination reality that is being created by you. It is just a mirror. That's all it is. It's just reflecting back what you imagine it can be. That's all it is. So, as we said, with that in mind, we would invite you, in whatever way, shape, or form you imagine you would like to do it, to share with your questions or statements.